Pune Chocha, Lulu Saidi and Uhesh Willis in the building. The time now is 12:09 in the PM and you're tuned into the Rhythm Junction. It is 12 o'clock and guys, just like we promised you, we are talking matters career. Yes. And you know, getting it right from the application of that job. And in studio with us today is Professor Hazel Gashuga, professor at JKUAT and adjunct faculty at the Strathmore Business School. She's a specialist and consultant in HR and change management. Karibu sana, Prof.
Thank you very much.
We have so many questions. So many of our listeners wanatuambia umeenda interviews and you know it's discouraging and disheartening, which is true. I mean, I don't know, Willis, if you got to really job. Yes, you did. You told us about your breakthrough story.
My breakthrough. Hence, my name on Facebook is Willis Breakthrough, because I was too tired of telling guys I need a job, pray for me. I need a job, pray for me. So I just used to say I need a breakthrough.
I need a breakthrough. It's true. We've tarmacked this street.
Yes.
What is the first stage maybe? I'm thinking when you apply for jobs and maybe first scenario you're straight from campus, you don't have any job experience. And they ask for somebody with a degree, 2 degrees I hear from Dixon, and 2 years experience. And you're like, but I'm just straight from campus.
Right.
Should you apply for such jobs or what should you do?
Okay. So first of all, every job has specifications in terms of what they want. So if I'm straight from campus, right now I'd not even be looking for a job. I'll be looking for internship.
Okay.
And you find that now, first of all, the government has made it mandatory for organizations to actually give internship, or at least reserve certain positions for internship.
Okay.
Could be 1 or 2 per organization.
Okay.
And they're even going ahead to say that those internships should be paid. And you have a year. So you can actually be an intern for a year.
Oh, for a year?
Yes.
And how much is the pay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not that much.
Okay.
But it's enough just to
get you around.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe your bus fare, maybe a bit of lunch.
Okay, so it's stipend.
Yeah, but that at least I can tell you that they're still negotiating in private sector in terms of the amounts, but for government offices, they are expected to give you a small stipend so that you can do it. And just to make it even more fair, now you've been seen in the papers, those internship opportunities are advertised. So if you've been looking at the papers, you'll see they're actually advertising. But the other thing you need to go is to look at the websites. And you find that they're actually putting them on the websites. And that's where you begin if you're from campus, internship. Because you might get opportunity in one and do one internship for 1 year. Then maybe from there, they're able to absorb you and you're able to work. Otherwise, when they're asking for 2 years and you don't have, you might have to consolidate a number of internships and show that at least you've had opportunities to work in various places.
Also, when they say 2 years, you must have the 2 years. You can't have worked for a year.
Very important to have what they're asking for.
But what if another thing that I've been told before, and maybe you can help us out with this, is say they want, let's say it's not somebody who's from straight from campus, but say they say this person must have 5 years experience and 2 degrees, but you have maybe 6 years experience and a diploma. Or a degree.
Okay. It depends on what is it that they're looking for. For example, if you look at the job specifications that they are specifying for that particular job, and you realize you fit, maybe because you've been out there internationally, you have that international exposure that gives you an edge, I think you should apply. Why not? You should really apply, because you might just be the person they are looking for. But usually when they are talking about those things, those job specifications matter. When they are saying it is 2 degrees, they are maybe not saying they're related degrees, but they are related to the job. So even if you're talking about diploma, it might be your work experience must show that you actually have the requirements for that particular position in terms of experience. But that is a very thin margin that you get that job.
It's almost like
that one is almost it's a small margin that you get that job.
Mulimu, let's talk about people who got fired from their previous jobs. How do you go to a panel and do you ever talk about that? Do you tell them that you're fired when they ask about your previous job?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We always say you don't need to say so much
Okay.
information. Stick to the facts. What are the facts?
Okay.
What are they looking for? So if they ask you why you left your previous job, there are reasons why. Because it could have been you left your previous job because you were retrenched. So you'd say that the organization was going through changes, and as a result, certain positions were no longer necessary.
Okay.
But then I'm not sure you want to say you were fired.
No, you don't.
Because then they would be wondering, so why should you hire you? Unless there are reasons when you can talk about firing. Like for example, if you felt that you really were ethical and did not want to break your ethical values, you can say that basically you did not agree. There are certain things you did not agree and you decided to separate ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you put it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about now. You've applied for that job, and they've called you for the interview. What are the biggest mistakes that we make at interviews?
Okay. Let's not even start at the interview stage.
Okay.
Let's begin even before the interview stage. Because when I've been doing some recruitments recently, and what annoyed me is even how the young people are applying for the jobs.
And I was going to ask you about that.
Okay.
What even just really annoyed me is how they are
language,
applying for the jobs.
Okay.
I mean, you write an email like you're writing to your friend. Hi, I'm applying for that position. I saw. You don't even know where you saw the position. You don't even say what the position is.
Wow.
But you assume that we know the position and you have applied.
Oh yeah, because you're the one that advertising for it anyway. So you shouldn't do that.
I mean, it's so important that even in that email, you put the reference as the particular position you have applied for. And usually they give you the number, and then write a formal email that you're applying for this position, maybe that you saw wherever you saw it, and why you think you're qualified in very few words. And then you attach your CV, and then attach your certificates and all the other requirements they have put there.
Okay.
Now, what was also more interesting, that majority of them could also have applied nicely, but they never, they attach their CV, but there are no certificates. So how am I supposed to know as a recruiter that you really have those qualifications you have put on your CV and you have not bothered? Yet it is clearly stipulated that there should be your CV, your certificates, and depending on what they're asking for. But you don't you just attach your CV, and some never even attach their CV. So you see, at that point you disqualify yourself even before you're disqualified. So it's so important to be meticulous in terms of how you apply for jobs. What are they asking for? Ensure that you actually attach it there. And if you don't have a particular thing, you can. It is always nice to say that, for example, this is being processed. By the time of interviews, I will come with it if I'm shortlisted. But you don't just give an email without anything.
What about and somebody because I was having this argument with somebody the other day who actually inboxed me wanting to come for a show, and they started with the Saksa instead of even Sasa first of all, and then they went. I mean, what normally puts me off, this is personal, this is like Willis, is even spelling mistakes.
Yes.
Hi HAE. I would like to apply for ETC.
That's colloquial language.
Yes, and so is it true then that for lack of a better word kusema kwa Kiswahili watu wanaanza kutolewa at the stage point. Yeah, it's true. It's
true at that point, because you start to feel they're not serious about what they're doing. They're not even serious about the position. They're not even serious. They're not even taking the whole process seriously. So if you have, we've worked with other recruiters. So there are recruiters who just decide, no, this one will not fit the position because the position requires somebody who's meticulous in terms of what they do. And already, even at the point of wanting to come in, they're not showing that seriousness.
But you know, I'm thinking, sorry Mwalimu, but this particular person maybe has had Willis on radio, and it's like, Willis is a fun person, you know, he's always laughing and singing on telly. So when they are asking you for the job, you're not suit and tie, you know, so they wouldn't have suit and tie language, you know. So that's why they'd say, hi Willis, because they know you as
this is hi
fun Willis.
Hi.
So what I think, my thinking would be that since you've not interacted, especially when you've not interacted one-on-one with
somebody,
person,
right, yeah.
I think keep it official.
Always keep it official.
Always keep it official because you haven't interacted.
It's true.
And then you'll find some interviewers I've met, quite a number of them will tell you, let us meet at Java, and we want to just have a conversation. So then at that point you can drop the formality, because they've also dropped the formality by meeting you in a social scene.
Okay.
But as much as you're dropping the formality, you cannot drop it too far.
Yeah, don't get too comfortable.
Don't get too comfortable.
High-fiving, laughing.
No, you can't do that.
No. So you have to be careful, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, but it's always safe because you've not met the person. This is a job, so just keep it official.
Okay.
But when you begin interacting one-on-one, then you are able to tell what the person really wants.
Okay. Prof. Hazel Gashuga, from professor at JKUAT and adjunct faculty at Strathmore Business School, taking your questions on interviews and how to ace that interview, how to get that job, how to keep it and grow your career.
Yep.